Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Somewhere deep in time, deep in the jungles of Mexico, once lived a people. We know them through the bizarre and frightening objects they left in their wake. Bizarre, spooky, frightening. What sort of a society was it that created and lived with such objects? What ideas did they have? What culture did they have? What was their system of rewards and punishments? The answer is lost in the mists of time. We call these people the Olmecs, and we ascribe to them the origins of civilization in America. By appearance, they seem to be Chinese or Southeast Asian, Vietnamese or Filipino. Some say Africa. We do not know how they got here. We know some of what they did, and it boggles the mind. Bizarre structure number 1. They possibly built an artificial volcano. One of the world's weirdest pyramids is this conical structure. For generations, archaeologists said it was an artificial volcano which the Olmecs venerated, possibly sacrificing victims to appease the gods from wherever the Olmecs came from. Resembling an Asiatic stupa, or perhaps Silbury Hill, at a complex called Venta. The complex appears to be roughly oriented north to south, but it isn't. Possibly because it's actually following magnetic north, or a pole shift has occurred since it was built. Recently, archaeologists have suggested that the Venta pyramid structure was not a fake volcano after all, but it was actually square or rectangular, and its sides merely became eroded. A fact which appears borne out by excavations showing a square foundation. I am not totally buying that because there are very square pyramids made of turf which do not have eroded sides. Structure number 2. Mass offerings. Imagine building a huge mosaic on an epic scale, say in the shape of a lizard or a bird or even a mask. Then immediately you have completed this, bury it. That's right, you just bury it in the ground. It does not need to be visible to man. It does not need to be seen from the air. The size of these mass offerings? Enormous. Take, for example, 48 tons of polished serpentine mosaic. Buried. They even buried polished haematite mirrors and polished jade objects which look like axe heads. We call these Celts. Now, we don't know why they did this, but I'm guessing it was to appease the fire god who made the tools. We're talking someone like Vulcan, and that would explain the volcano. You see a similar thing at Göbekli Tepe. Lots of buried tools. In fact, tools and bones were used to actually bury the structure. I suppose if the Nazca people were descendants of the Olmecs, this would explain their own geoglyphs as well as mass offerings to their own gods, images you would see from the sky. Structure number 3, the Olmec Heads, and get this, they are all the same guy. I don't think anyone has said or noticed this before. The Olmec Heads are all the same guy. If you look at the Olmec Heads, they are clearly all the same man. I don't think anyone talks about this. And not only that, you see him at different ages. For example, you see him at an old age. So here he is young, and in this one he is old. But they all look like the same guy, possibly some evil megalomaniac who wanted his face everywhere. I do not think the Olmec heads were originally heads at all. If you look at them, they actually look like round balls, or they were ophthalmi. They look a bit like that from the top, and they have taken these round balls, and then possibly a face was carved into the side.